which is pretty typical of him.
Should I try to like take his place? Should I go on some random rant?
Oh yeah,
Something,
maybe you don't like, sporks or something. I don't know. Can you
something
write
that's
about that?
grinding my gears. Yeah, no, I don't have any of those.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to. We've been doing a lot of polls lately, and they've been getting a lot, pretty good traction. And I think we'll have to do a poll. Does Hannah replace Ethan permanently on the show?
I
That's
think
brutal.
we have to do that.
Brutal. Too many Jews in the kitchen. You got to pick.
So good. Oh, well, actually, Hannah, what I can do for you, I was gonna had we actually started on time with everything, I had this all set up for you. So we're just gonna pretend you just walked in. Hannah Lichtenstein, everyone, the schlubina is back with us.
Back.
Oh, I'm blushing.
We had to do that for you. I meant to do that last time. I had just gotten a soundboard the last time you came on, and I was still playing around with it, getting used to it. And then you got off, and I was like, crap, I never did the loud clapping and cheering for Hannah. So I've been thinking about it all day.
That's incredible. I love that.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it all day. I wasn't going to forget. And we're super pumped to have you. And I'm going to hijack the conversation to start because I've been waiting to ask you about this ever since it happened. But the National Women's Soccer League just went on like a frenzy of trades and signs and all this type of stuff. And you are the resident WoSpo expert. And I would just love to know, like, what was behind, like, my girl Julie Ertz joining her husband out west and Alex Morgan getting traded and, all these things. Like, can you give us a little context into what that frenzy was all about?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the NWSL offseason just always tends to be chaotic, and we're always surprised by things that happen and, the sorts of discussions and that are happening behind the scenes. They seem to always catch us off guard. But I think something that you see with women's sports as a more, I want to say, like, front and center narrative is like the importance of family. And that's not to say that, of course, male athletes also value their family, but, for whatever reasons, the sorts of ways we talk about women's sports, it's always in the discussion. It feels like a lot more. So pretty much when it was announced that there was going to be a Southern California team, everyone knew that Alex Morgan was going to figure out some way, somehow to get there. Just because that's where she's from. That's where she and her husband have like long had a home. And same with Julie Ertz. I mean, obviously they're not like going to be right next to each other, but I still think that that's a factor. So I don't know. I just think it's interesting to think about family as it relates to trades in women's sports. We just saw the same thing with, Candace Parker as well. So the whole concept of coming home and being with family is super important.
Do they usually, like, in a league as young as the National Women's Soccer League is, like, in baseball, for example, once you become a free agent, that's usually when you see the people like either make a decision to play closer to home or things like that. Like, it's rare that there's like a Ken Griffey Jr. where they engineer a trade to go to a place to get a little bit closer to home and everything.
Yeah.
Do you see that though a little bit more because the league is a little bit younger and maybe like free agency is not as much of a vehicle to get to place, that, like, all right, trades the way it's got to happen, we'll figure it out. Like, what I guess I just don't even understand, like, what goes into the conversation to say I want to go out west.
Yeah.
Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
You'll see, like, it's so funny. You'll see these graphics that are put out on social, and it's like San Diego gets Alex Morgan in exchange for 5 Chipotle gift cards and, like, 3 players and 7th and 8th round draft pick. Like, it's just so if the math feels very complicated. So as much as I want to understand, it feels like a headache being in those rooms and kind of making sense of it all. Yeah, but hello, Ethan.
Hello, how are you? Nice to see you.
I
And
almost
let's welcome our guest to the new, our guest to the podcast, Two Jocks and a Schlubina. Welcome, honorary schlub Ethan Ertz, to the podcast. Great to have you on.
Thank you. So good to be here. I'm just going to eat my dinner and sit here quietly.
Wait.
You know
Here's
what?
what we
Actually-
can do for Ethan.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
Thank you. I knew that there was going to be some sort of comment on my tardiness, and I will just reiterate for the millionth fucking time that I would be more than happy to record on a night where I don't teach until 8:30 or so, depending on the scheduling, because sometimes it goes over. So I, would be more than happy.
I don't
So
think anyone commented on your tardiness. We might need to roll the tape back. I just, welcomed you to the show. I don't know why there's such vinegar here, Ethan. Lots of vinegar.
Yes, I am full of it, full of piss and vinegar. That's like an old phrase, an old saying. It's a real thing, piss and vinegar.
Well, I didn't realize that you were a teacher, Ethan. So just thank you for all you do. I guess there's some kindness coming your way.
That's very sweet. Yeah, I mean, I teach music private lessons. So, and I drive to my students' homes, and so, as you know, now being a DMV person who lives, as a DMV resident, that traffic around here is garbage, and so,
True.
timing is relative. Schedules are relative for me, anyways. So
yeah. So if I can go on that rant, Ethan, I was gonna replace you by going on a rant.
Please do.
I hate when people are late. It's just so annoying.
Amazing. Wow. The Schlubina's got some good comedic timing. I like it. We got to have her on more.
So good.
Awesome.
Well, hey, to jump back into what you were saying with the trades, there is precedence. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 times this has happened, but like there's tales of old baseball trades. Like, Johnny Gumshoe was traded for a bag of baseballs and 3 baseball bats. Like, but it's just, I don't know. It sounds like with the NWSL, like some of the bigger star players are throwing their star power around to get what they want.
Exactly.
Which is great. It's great.
They have a lot of leverage, especially with these new teams like out in SoCal. There's 2 new teams that are going to start playing in 2022, and you have these huge national team names that are just going to be so important for marketing and branding and everything. So they definitely have a lot of leverage. And I just want to throw in there too. I mean, I think that there's also just an appeal in moving to California.
100%.
People like
100%.
that. Yeah.
Is the LA team is the one that's like Serena Williams and all of them that own it?
Yes, the Hollywood team. It's got a lot of like flashiness to it. It should be cool. I'm excited about that. Really like diverse ownership group, a lot of like big names there in tech and Hollywood and whatnot. So we'll see if it translates on the field though.
Yeah, sure. Is it how do they put together a team? So like when new baseball teams came on, at least in the past, they would hold expansion drafts, and so there'd be certain players that you could keep from being drafted, but like the majority of your roster was kind of open to this selection, and so you would be taking from the existing major league rosters to build your new roster. That's at least how they did it in baseball.
Yeah, well, it's funny that you say that because tomorrow is the expansion draft. NWSL. And ever since this season finished up a few weeks back, there's been some activity, again with Alex Morgan and stuff like that. But there's various moves made from teams to protect their rosters from the new teams. So that's happening again. It feels very just like a chess match, super political. And then of course, so you'll have the expansion draft tomorrow, and then you'll have a good old college draft. So the list just came out, I think it was yesterday, of all the registered players. And, I always smile because being a D3 athlete, I love seeing these women put their names in the hat, their name in the ring of, coming from D3 schools and NIA schools. And, yes, it's a huge long shot, but I think the fact that we're seeing more and more of those names just shows that, the league is here to stay, and maybe there'll be more teams coming in the league in the coming years and more opportunities.
How many teams are they up to now?
Oh God, what are
You
we
know?
at? 11, I think. Still small, but there's always interest in various cities, various ownership groups who say, I want to bring a women's sports team here. And I think the league has really tried to like, I don't know, just take a really intelligent, critical eye to that and not like fall for that all the time.
Yeah.
Even though you have a rich guy with like a ton of money who can make it happen, because they're really kind of valuing like stability and longevity over just like a team that, you know, oh, it's like the hot thing to do now, and then, you know, it might crumble in the next year or two. So this is the longest running, you know, this is the third iteration of pro women's soccer in the US, and this is the longest running one by, you know, twice as long as the WPS. So it's exciting. Hopefully can get to the longevity of the WNBA soon.
Yeah. And I think it's super smart to go that way. 'Cause I just think about the football and all the failed leagues that have tried to start up against the NFL. And it just, yeah, like you said, it doesn't matter how much money these people have that they're throwing against it. It just like if the long-term sustainable support isn't there, it doesn't work. And sometimes it doesn't even work for, like, you know, we talk about this on the podcast all the time, like Tampa Bay in an established league like Major League Baseball, it's not working there. You know, and so it's I think it's super smart. You're not the first person actually to tell me that, because I've always wondered like why Charlotte doesn't have either WNBA. They used to have WNBA or professional soccer.
Right.
And one of the reasonings I got is because there is a team out in the Raleigh area in Cary, and it's just too close in proximity. Proximity.
Yeah.
And like a big word for me there.
Now do the applause sound effect. The applause sound effect.
I'll give myself a golf clap.
Well, I always think like, I mean, now that I work in the NFL, and it sounds like it might be the same with baseball, like what would it take for like a new NFL team to start? Like, right, the new NFL teams have all been teams that have moved from other cities, like the Raiders or like the Rams. Like who's like the most recent actually new team?
That's a good question.
The Texans.
Texans.
Yes.
Technically. But again, in both cases, it was like, well, Houston had a team and then it moved to Tennessee. And then everyone in Houston's like, we want a team again.
Yeah.
So the same thing with Cleveland. Cleveland had a team, it moved to Baltimore. Cleveland is so upset that they get promised a new team. So you're starting with a rabid fan base with history there versus like, I think it'd be much more difficult to say, I don't know, we're going to start the Portland, I don't know, tree huggers. I was going to say Timbers, and then I was like, well, shit, that's already a team out there.
What about baseball? What's the most
the last four have all been unique. It was Denver, Miami, Phoenix, and Tampa. Tampa.
Yeah. See, like Denver and Miami seems crazy to me. Like, why is that? Why are they so late? Like,
yeah, and Miami's still struggling too. Not as bad as Tampa, and Miami's had more on-field success. Well, no, I guess that's not even. Yeah, they have 2 World Series, but they don't have a lot of winning seasons in their franchise history, whereas the Rays have more like sustainability when it comes to winning, but they don't have the support at all. It's just Florida baseball in Florida doesn't seem to be all that great. Ethan, chime in. I can see.
Well, the thing that's weird about it that's always mystified me, and I lived in Miami for 2 years and I still did not get an answer, but like
he also didn't go to games in Miami.
So I'm just going to ignore that. Miami, as I think most people know, super, super heavy Hispanic population from all over. Obviously, Cuba is the most well-known, right? There's a ton of Cubans, but it's not just Cubans. Tons of Hispanic people. And as we know, baseball is like massive in all of these Central American, South American, Caribbean countries. And so it's strange to me that there isn't like a rabid following, and maybe it has to do with the inconsistency of the franchise or whatever, the fact that Jeffrey Loria was their owner for a while and we all know about him. But it's just, That's just always been one that's been a mystery to me. And I don't have the answer. I don't know if there's Colin or Matt, if you guys know, is there like a generally, or Hannah, is there a generally accepted like consensus as to why? Like, I don't know. It just seems strange to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell. I don't know. I mean, with all they've had so many different iterations of trying to make it work. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Well, I spun this off into a totally different conversation, but pretty interesting.
Yeah. Well, it just goes back to support what you're saying in the sense that it is smart that they're going about this in a calculated way. And I do think it has the legs right now to be the next WNBA and to, stick around long term. So I think that's super exciting.
When I make all this money from my future podcast network, I'm definitely going to start a women's sports team.
Yes.
A soccer team. So stay tuned.
I already have a secret deal with Hannah to be the first show that she signs for her empire.
Well, I'll let you guys get to your ridiculousness. I'll let Ethan pop off, although it looks like he's eating, but
I actually just finished, so your timing is impeccable.
He's fueling. He's fueled up.
All fueled up now. Exactly. Yeah. Ready to pop off. Yep.
Thanks as always for letting me intrude and whatnot.
Come back soon.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you,
have a good
Hannah.
night, guys.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Bye.
I think Matt and I and Hannah agreed we're gonna do a poll and see if they want Hannah or if they want you.
I mean, I would imagine that Hannah would win in a landslide. I mean, I'd vote for Hannah. So
come on, give yourself and your rants a little bit of credit.
Huh? Oh, I mean, oh no, I think my rants are excellent. I'm just saying, Hannah is just so nice. She's so cool. I could just see, she would just be a wonderful permanent host. And then if I wasn't, I could just enjoy my Wednesday evenings in leisure instead of feeling pressured by my friends to hurry up and eat real fast and get to the podcast on time.
Well, see, I was going to do this off air, but now that you're bringing it up again, I want people to hear this. What night of the week works better for you to do this?
Okay, so that's the problem. Yeah, is that
interesting.
Okay, but that means you guys need to accept the fact that it's going to be like 8:30 to 9. It's going to be in that range when I get on, and it's not going to be consistent. Because Monday through Thursday, I teach until about 8:30, all of those nights. Friday, I finish up earlier, but I don't know that any of us want to record on Friday evening. And then the weekends are obviously wide open, but I get the sense that is also a non-starter with you guys.
Good luck nailing me down on the weekends.
Right, you do tend to gallivant all over the place. So
Matt's got a life.
Yeah, Matt has.
No, I just have no kids. I've got a cat and disposable income to go do stupid stuff with.
It's not stupid. It's stuff.
Drive to Treehouse Brewing to
right,
get some delicious beer to drink out of my Treehouse glass.
I'm having Treehouse tonight too.
Yeah, tell us about what you're drinking, fellas.
I'm having Emperor Julius. Oh, we both. That's amazing. Cheers. Nice. This was not planned. Hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Matt, is this from the pack that you and I had split, or is this from your recent visit?
This is the last from the pack that we split.
Okay. And this is my first from that pack. I actually hadn't even started it until right now. Well, because I had my cold all last week. I wasn't drinking.
That's right.
And then I had to finish my other halves that you had given me, which, by the way, the triple broccoli special reserve, fucking delicious. That was really, really good. Thank you.
Disclaimer, it doesn't actually have broccoli in it. Right. I had to tell my family that. Well, okay, side story. I had once brought a beer home that had asparagus in it. So, and
wow.
Yes, it tastes like you think it would taste.
Ew.
But so now when I bring home a beer that's called like triple broccoli special reserve or like baked potato or cheesecake, my parents go like, ooh, does it actually have broccoli in it? No. Breweries just run out of names, so they named it something stupid. Other halves had names like double meatballs spaghetti sunrise, and it's like I don't know what that means, but they were probably high or something, and
probably
chose. So
yeah.
That's amazing.
It's a good one, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it was delicious. And Emperor Julius, my first few sips, also delicious. No surprise.
So just a quick aside on Treehouse as I wear their hat. I don't have a shirt though. I'm wearing Beer Trees shirt for
Beer
Tree
Tree
shirt, but I'm wearing
Treehouse
Treehouse
shirt,
Brewing's
or Treehouse hat and Treehouse glass too. Nice.
So I may have said this. It's like Disney World for beer nerds. Like you drive in this long, windy driveway. There's like arches with like that are lit up at night, and there's nice landscaping, and you're like driving into the woods. And that was too late for me. It was really late at night, so I couldn't see like all the fancy stuff. But like there's this massive building with all the like the multiple bars and live music, and they have all the fancy beer and like terraced gardens with like 45 Adirondack chairs outside and a big outdoor stone patio and food trucks and barbecue in the air and beer on your lips, and it was just wonderful.
Yeah, it's an amazing setup.
The one drawback, which is probably a good thing because people like me would sit there and just get smashed, you only can get 2 drafts per visit. Which again, good thing, because my brother and I had to hop in the car, and so 2 10-ounce drafts are all I really need.
And because all of these beers are high ABV too.
Yeah. So, but if I wasn't driving, that would be an awesome place to set up shop and kill a couple hours.
Yeah.
Because they just had so much fun stuff on tap. But
yeah,
my brother and I, as we were driving up to Boston last weekend, had a great time there. It was a lot of fun. Worth a visit if you're ever in the area of Charlton, Massachusetts.
Yep, absolutely.
Good stuff.
So Colin, you teased it. Yeah, you teased the beer tonight. What are you drinking?
Yeah. So it's called Toaster Tarts. It's a slushy. It's from 450 North Brewing out in
Columbus, Indiana.
Columbus, yep, Indiana. And it legitimately, it's like jelly. Like, see it on my finger.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's very tasty too. But it's a different consistency than I think I've ever had in a beer. So Toddy got it from some random place here, just that one can. And I've been saving it for tonight because I wanted to have it with you boys. But I gave Toddy a taste of it too. So
I'll regale you with a story of 450 North one of these days. There's an interesting backstory with them.
Okay. Nice little teaser. I mean, we can say it now if you want, or we could save it.
Well, we'll save it.
Okay. We'll save it. All right. Well, let's move on to some other things. Before I forget, since I was just talking about Toddy, you want to give her a shout out. It's our anniversary tomorrow when people are listening to this. So 4 years. 4 years.
4 years.
4 years. Yeah. That COVID year gets kind of mixed up with me.
Yeah, for sure.
And yep, that was a good time back in Syracuse for the wedding, and it's been a good 4 years since. So want to give that shout out. My other shout out for today is to Penn State football, who signed the #1 overall quarterback recruit in the country, #3 overall player in the country. It's the highest rated quarterback recruit they've ever gotten, higher than Christian Hackenberg, and it's the highest rated overall recruit they've got since they got the #1 overall recruit in 2005 in Derek Williams. So it's a pretty exciting day. We've known for a long time that the quarterback room has been an area of weakness for the team. Not weak. They've had Trace McSorley, and even Hackenberg was good before he was getting hit every other play because the O-line was so bad. But it's super exciting. We have our 6th-year, 24-year-old quarterback coming back next year to kind of bridge things and help teach this kid along. It's, I don't know. I know it's just a signing day and you got to prove it on the field and everything, but we've been waiting for a quarterback like this for a long time. And it's just cool in the face of everything that we've gotten to that point. So had to give a shout out to my Nittany Lions today. I'm super pumped.
Very nice. Very exciting stuff.
What do you guys say,
His name was Derek Williams, the guy in 2005? Because I remember you talking about, I thought there was a Derek Robinson. Was there one?
Michael Robinson.
Okay.
He was a quarterback. That was the 2005 season. Williams' freshman year was Robinson's senior year. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they were on the same team.
Okay.
That was the year they lost to Michigan in the final 2 seconds. Otherwise, they would have went undefeated.
Right, your
possibly played
favorite
USC
your
for
favorite
them.
game in Penn State history. You love that game.
Yeah, that's the worst game.
Yeah, Matt has that look on his face. Like
I
you
know.
You can tell he's ready to tickle some balls. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I mean, just Christian Hackenberg is just fun to make fun of. That was it. And then also it's fun. Ethan, are you a Scrubs fan?
I love Scrubs.
I mean, I feel like just because it's fun to give Colin a hard time, we should every time he talks about Penn State, we should just practice the Dr. Cox 3, 2, 1. But I mean, what you guys kept Bill O'Brien, right? Like, so you got your coach, you got
James Franklin.
Bill O'Brien's the old guy. Yeah, he's Texans. Never mind. Oof.
Yeah.
It's not like I live in the state or anything.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna be exiled from Pennsylvania for that.
But yeah, so you kept big old Jim Frank, and like you said, you got your bridge quarterback. Maybe you guys can make some noise in the unheavily weighted division, whatever Legends
East.
Or whatever they call it, East.
Yeah, the East. Yeah.
So
they have the National Gatorade Player of the Year in football in the running back, Nicholas Singleton, 5-star composite running back.
What were the Big Ten division names? It wasn't like East and West before. It was like Legends and like
Legends and Leaders. I think something stupid.
They can both start with the letter L. Way to go, Big Ten. There's 14 teams. You dummies.
Yeah, I think the actual alignment was better when that was the case. I think the heaviness came when they changed the names, and they also, I think Michigan used to be in the Leaders. Or in the Leaders, because I think we were in the Legends. Whatever it was definitely more balanced in the past, and they've really messed that up. Even if you look today at the rankings of all the Big Ten teams, the top 6 are Big Ten East. The bottom 6 are the Big Ten West.
Wow.
So, I don't know how you bring. I don't know how the West is supposed to compete with Ohio State at the the very least, and then Michigan on the way up in the playoffs. We've had some really good recruiting classes lately, some good success and things. So it's crazy, but it is what it is. What shout outs you guys got?
Big drama in Formula One this past weekend. Big drama.
Is this your shout out?
No, I just was going to go through like a little shout out. If I want to give a shout out, I'm going to give a shout out to Max Verstappen, Red Bull world champion for F1 this past weekend. Not my favorite, not Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton showed some grace and congratulated Max after, but there was very contentious racing at the end. Lewis was running away with it, was like 30 seconds ahead, and then with like 6 laps to go, the guy from the last place team from second to last place team spins out, and they have a safety car come out, which squeezes everyone back up together. And there was controversy about some of the race stewards and the moves they made and blah, blah, blah. But ultimately it put Max right behind Lewis on fresh tires, and they had like a 1-lap shootout to the end, and Max won. So there's a lot of people complaining about it still. Do I think it was right? No. But am I happy that Max won? Yeah, because it was really exciting for like a good 10 seconds or so this year.
So people, listeners out there, if you're looking for the top notch, first rate content about Formula One racing, this is the podcast for you.
Hell yeah!
Okay, there you go.
That'll be great to like all of our one listener.
Exactly right.
No, one of these years I actually want to go to a race too. If I can maybe convince. They have a new one in Miami. Actually, they're going to be racing around the parking lot outside Hard Rock Stadium or whatever they called it. But it's here to stay. It's growing in popularity. Formula One was purchased by an American company, Liberty Media, like 3 or 4 years ago, and it's where you get your Netflix Drive to Survive documentaries every year, and you get the intrigue and the.
Now, for ignoramuses like me, what makes Formula One? Is there a specific type of car that they're using, or what?
So Formula One, the formula refers to the rules
for
the car. And there are a lot of really so Formula One is considered up there with IndyCar as the two top open wheel racing leagues out there. Formula One is I mean, there's tons and tons of money in there. They just instituted a salary cap, essentially a spending limit, because you'd have teams like Mercedes dumping $400 or $500 million into the thing every year because they're going through and doing super high level modeling, and they're doing carbon fiber everything, and just incredible amounts of engineering work. I mean, the engines are only V6 hybrid engines, but these cars can go, over 225 miles an hour. Whoa. I mean, it's up there. It's on par with IndyCar. IndyCar is a little bit different, where IndyCar has standardized a lot more stuff, and they've got a couple different differences. So IndyCar, you still have like different engine suppliers and different teams, but the chassis are the same. There's some modifications you can make, but it's a lot more uniform in the cars, and it's more about different kind of driver techniques in IndyCar, whereas in Formula One, if you've got the best car, there's a good chance you're going to run away with it for the year. So other things we can go on at other times for all of our F1 enthusiasts out there. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Definitely the engineer in me gets really excited about it, because I think it's pretty cool learning about all the stuff they do to these cars, learning about all the different characteristics and things you can modify to make the car go faster, and what you can do. And anyway,
we're really branching out here. I like it. We're branching out into other sports.
Yeah, I'm going to interject real quick, Ethan, before you get to your shout outs. And I just want to say that I was going to save this for the full comments and mailbag section coming up here in a minute. But I got a very passionate comment the other day from friend of the podcast, Devin Conley, who said, we don't talk about the NFL quite enough for him. And I think he'll be thrilled to know that we did take a big portion of today's show to talk about F1 racing, and just completely ignore the NFL as if it's not the end of the season.
Perfect. I like
that.
I
mean, I know why you guys are avoiding talking about the NFL.
Because the Giants are trash?
Because, Mike, what's his name, was your starting quarterback this past weekend?
Mike Lennon. Yeah,
and Sasquatch has more in common with the actual Sasquatch, as in where is he and where are his numbers than with
That's good.
Yeah,
Matthew, I know you're just trying to rile me up, and it works to a certain extent, but I implore you to watch a Giants game and look at the grades of the offensive linemen after the game, and tell me, or don't even look at the analytics, but just tell me with your eyes how many times Saquon gets hit the second he gets the ball in his hands. It happens at least 8 times a game, if not more.
I'll have to find, there is some qualitative measurement of this out there in terms of how soon behind the line they get hit, and what their overall. I'll have to pull up what I found a couple weeks ago, because based on those stats, essentially how far in the backfield are they getting hit, and what are they still doing? I'd say Saquon is he's right around the top third in terms of effectiveness there. And they've looked at seasons. They look at this was analyzed in the last 15 seasons or so, but it stops in 2017. So Saquon has a small sample size in there. Maybe it was 2019. Saquon's got a small sample size, but no, I mean, because I was legitimately, again, because I know I do give you a lot of shit about it, but I was legitimately trying to find, is there a good way to measure this? Is there a good way to measure a running back independent of how good or bad his line is? Because what does he how does he make something out of nothing,
in baseball, fielding independent pitching in baseball?
Essentially, if you've got a shit line, okay, how do you still measure and equally compare everyone? And so that I legitimately did try looking at that, because I wanted to, I was trying to discredit your argument, but it actually came out that, he is, he is in the top third. He wasn't the top. I forgot who the top were, but he had 3 or 4 of the best seasons when you were combining it in the top third of everyone they measured. So,
yeah. Well, and the reason that you're seeing that data is because the Giants aren't just bad on the offensive line. They're historically bad. Their so terrible that Dave Gettleman shouldn't ever have an opportunity to draft anyone ever again. Like the way that he has built that team, it's horrendous. Like you look at videos of Barry Sanders, like, yeah, those Lions teams weren't any good, but he at least had blockers. I mean, how many times? It's not just one player. It's like 3 players are hitting Saquon or whoever the running back is as soon as the ball is handed off. And that's why they only end up running the ball like 10 times a game, is because 8 times they try it, they get hit 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And it's like, and then they're down 21-0. And you know, what are you going to do there? And
I mean,
but again, it happened this week. They put Saquon out in space. He scored a touchdown. Like, I'm not saying he's 100% back, you know, from his injury and everything, but you got to give these guys an opportunity to get in space and to get moving. And like, they just don't have the opportunity to get moving. And it's unbelievable that a franchise in a league like that can be this bad for so long, that they haven't had a good O-line in a handful of years, if not longer. And now it's historically bad. Like, they've had some pretty bad lines, but it's awful right now.
I mean, the Packers are down 3 starters, including the highest paid tackle in the league, and we're down 3 backups on the line, and still doing pretty good.
Because I'm telling you, your talent evaluators are better than the Giants.
Okay, I will say, yeah, it's easy to beat up on Gettleman. Keep doing that. Sorry, Ethan, go ahead.
I was just going to say, modern technology has come so far, and I'm very, very grateful for it. But the next thing that we need, I hope that there are people at MIT working on this, like right now. We need somebody to create something that will make it audible when I roll my eyes. So when Matt just brought up the Packers, I rolled my eyes super hard. But you can't hear it. So we need modern technology to get to a point where I want you to hear how fucking hard I roll my eyes, because I roll my eyes a lot, and I think it's important. So that's it. Speechless. I have rendered my co-host speechless. That's amazing.
Here it is.
Valedict. I just valedict the valedict. When did you do that? That's amazing.
Oh, man.
Oh, fucking hilarious. Okay, so good. I'm going to do my shout outs since I'm already talking. I've got 2, which normally I don't have very many shout outs, if any, but I've got 2 this week. Number 1 is to my friend Maylee Grigg, who is also the mother of one of my students. And she shocked me last week by telling me that she is a fan of the podcast. And I was a little horrified at first because, as you all can imagine, my language that I use during the podcast is quite a bit saltier than the language I use when I am teaching children. And yeah, we hope, and it is. I do not drop millions of F-bombs in front of my students, but she did not mind at all. She thoroughly enjoys our podcast, and so hi, Maylee, and thank you. Second shout out is for a friend of the pod and my younger brother, Jeremy, who reminded me again this week that we have succeeded in forgetting for like 8 weeks in a row that he correctly called the World Series that was going to be the Braves in 6. He correctly called that on our show when we did that. And he has been wanting us to mention that for weeks and weeks and weeks, but we always keep forgetting. Miraculously, I just happen to remember it right now. And as Jeremy knows, and as you guys know, my memory is garbage unless it comes to random music and baseball facts. So Jeremy, you are welcome, and go buy a lottery ticket because I just remembered that. So there you go.
Matt, before you tear it apart, this is for Jeremy.
Yeah, good.
Go ahead, Matt.
We were already like 3 games into the series, Ethan. I'm just saying that, you know.
Were we?
Yeah.
We looked it up.
It came out
okay.
on October 28th.
I didn't remember that. That's hilarious.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, Jeremy. Congrats, but.
That's funny. Jeremy, I think it was very good.
Mug and some beer. So.
Yeah, you did.
Love
That's
it.
funny.
Those are good shout outs. And actually that segues us nicely. We can do the other comments and mailbag things to wrap it up because we have quite a bit again. So Kool-Aid Man, the poll between Kool-Aid Man and Tony the Tiger, who would win in a battle to the death. Friend of the show, Rip Griffin, wrote in saying nobody could run through a brick wall like Kool-Aid Man. I don't know if that answers the question, but Thanks for that, Rip. Another friend of the show, Eric, has another great breakdown like you did for the last poll. So I'll try to read this as coherently as I can and not laugh and stumble through it. But Eric said, assuming we aren't using weapons, Kool-Aid has mass strength and a psychotic smile, leaving us to wonder what he is truly capable of. Tony can scratch and bite things, but he's too much like Tony Robbins. Considering the size and thickness of Kool-Aid glass, I find it hard to believe that Tony can penetrate with his teeth or claws. I believe Tony will continue to try to defeat Kool-Aid until he hasn't the strength to continue. At the moment, I just can't do this. At the moment, he pulls out his 12-step program in resolving conflict, hoping to get out of it. Then Kool-Aid Man, with that smile, starts actively listening. Once Tony's guard is lowered, Kool-Aid snaps Tony's neck with a swift movement. While Tony is twitching due to nerve activity, Kool-Aid then crushes Tony's school, urinates red Kool-Aid on the 12-step program guide, then walks away, still smiling.
Oh my God. Okay, I don't think I know who this guy is, but please, Eric, keep it coming. Fucking genius. Thank you. Love it.
It's just so hard to read without laughing.
So good.
Man. All right, so we got that. Oh, back to YouTube. And Matt and I were trying to be investigative reporters for the Schlubina hopped on. How would you say, Matt, did we come up with how we say this first name?
No.
Joshe?
Joshe?
Roots Kromari.
Oh, our Singaporean friend?
I don't know.
We don't know. Just our YouTube commenter friend. We don't know where they are from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got some hints, but I'm not gonna reveal them on the podcast. I've got some ideas.
Okay.
Well, this week's comment said, Ethan, I hope your cold goes away. Rudy, the electric dew shirt is electric. And Colin, man, the Giants, do I even have to bring that up? We did for you.
Yeah, right, we did for you. That was so nice. That this person, whoever they are, is so nice. Such considerate comments. My cold is much better, so thank you, Jeshe, or whatever the pronunciation is. I will look at how your name is spelled because chances are my guess at the pronunciation will be much better than these fucking idiots. So I'll take a look at it.
And Jay, if that's you, if it's you, you got to tell me because we're best friends.
Oh,
best friend Jay.
That would be actually hilarious if it
Best
was
friend
Jay.
Jay, you got to tell me.
That would be really funny.
Yes, please reveal yourself. It's driving us crazy. But keep leaving nice comments too.
Yes, very nice, that. Very sweet, very very kind. We love it.
All right, you guys ready to wrap it up with mailbag?
Yep.
And
yeah, let's go.
This mailbag comes from none other than Cousin Greg. It's the
of
Cousin
course.
Greg mailbag segment.
Every week. Yep, devoted segment.
All right. So, back to the food question. Would you rather be able to eat your favorite food the rest of your life, but not be able to taste it, or eat something you don't like, but be able to taste it? And he also said, so Matt doesn't get mad, the parameters are that this is the only thing you can eat.
Ah.
Some defined parameters. Oh, man.
Uh-huh. Fuck, that's really tough.
I don't know. Here's my analog. If like, I'd rather not be able to hear. I'd rather not be able to hear my favorite song than lose my ability to hear altogether.
Yes, agreed.
I mean, so I think I would rather keep my sense of taste, but not be able, but only have to eat, I don't know, peas for the rest of my life or something. Yeah, would it drive me insane?
What if it's truly garbage, though?
Well, but if we keep this scenario, if we keep our sense of taste, we get to eat something that we know we like. We just won't be able to taste it.
No.
Yeah, read it again. You need to work on your reading comprehension.
Would you rather be able to eat your favorite food the rest of your life but not be able to taste it?
Yes.
Or eat something you don't like but be able to taste it?
Yeah. So
so I guess you have the choice. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
So it's not just that food, it's other stuff.
Well, no. So if you are
Yeah,
choosing
yeah.
to keep your taste, if you are choosing, or no, excuse me, if you are, oh, you know what? Maybe I was misinterpreting where Matt was going. I think I was assuming Matt was going well, because you're analog, Matt. Yeah, you're analog, Matt. Okay, you would want to keep tasting garbage shit. Okay, continue.
Yeah, I don't know. Instead of losing my taste altogether.
Okay.
I think that's where I'm going.
That's where you were going. And I totally, because I'm an egomaniac and a narcissist, I assumed that you were going in the same direction as me, which is stupid. I agree with, well, the problem is because I agree with you on the hearing thing. I would want to keep my sense of hearing. But in terms of taste, like, taste is and eating is just such a source of joy that if I had to spend my whole life eating something that I didn't like, that would just be so fucking miserable. So I think I'd rather lose my sense of taste and eat something that I know I like. Hearing is different for me because of my life, as a musician. I think I'd rather be able to keep hearing, even if I had to listen to stuff I didn't love.
But if you're losing your sense of taste, but you're eating something you like, then how do you know you like it?
Well, right, true. But I would rather do that than know that I'm gonna, like, 3 meals a day for the rest of my life be like having an unpleasant experience,
Like an onion.
I mean, I love onion, but like, yeah, I mean, nobody's gonna, sit and eat a raw onion.
Well, you get to pick the meal, I think, in the scenario.
But it has to be something you don't like, though.
Yeah,
If
right.
it-
but
yeah,
in
but
either
that changes,
scenario,
like-
you get to pick what it is.
5
but
years
it
ago, I
has to
didn't
be
like
the
green
only
beans.
thing.
Right.
Monday, I had a whole 5 servings of them for dinner. So
Of beans?
green beans, yes.
Green beans? Yeah.
We'll sprinkle a little bit of Cajun seasoning on them. Ooh, nothing else.
That's your thing now. That's your thing. You mentioned that a couple shows ago, I think.
Yeah, last night it was a whole bag of broccoli. Tonight was some chili.
Okay.
Homemade chili.
Ooh, yum.
Award-winning homemade chili.
I want some of your homemade chili. Fuck. All right. Next time I come over, I want some of that.
Hell yeah.
All right. And Colin, what's your answer?
I think I'm going with you, Ethan.
Yeah.
I think the notion of knowing that I like it is good enough for me
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
But like, what's your least favorite pizza topping? Mushrooms? Say it's
Mushroom,
mushrooms. Like,
It
if you
is.
hate mushrooms, but you can't taste it. How do you know you're eating mushroom pizza if you can't taste it? How do you know?
'Cause I can see it.
Yeah, but okay, but you're mixing it up. If you can't taste, you're eating something you love. So if you don't like mushrooms, you won't be eating mushrooms anyways.
But I was saying, if you can't taste it, how do you know it's something you love? Like, it could
Oh.
look
'Cause you
exactly
get to
like
pick
chocolate
Well, because
cake,
we
but I could-
know intellectually. We know intellectually,
Yeah.
right? Isn't that the basis of the scenario? We know intellectually that it's our favorite food.
saying if you can't taste it, then you have no idea. Food becomes meaningless. You have no
Well-
idea what it is.
Sure, but I think we're assuming based on our previous life experience that we had a tragic accident and we can no longer taste. So we still know that it's something that we like. But we can't actually taste it.
I mean,
Matt, it's okay.
Matt is like, it's so funny. Normally I am the king of pedantry, but Matt gives me a run for my money, and especially with these scenarios. Matt, you need to have like a powwow with cousin Greg, and you can settle all of the fine points of this, and then get back to us.
I mean,
Okay.
you guys are going like the Beethoven route, like I can't hear, but I know the music, and it's like I just,
exactly.
like
Yeah.
if you can't hear, how can you tell what they're playing? Like Beethoven could say, yes, I love my symphony number 3, and he could put it in front of a band and he could say, yes, I love it. But if he can't hear, how can he tell if it's like elementary school kids playing it like flat and shit and like not keeping the rhythm, where like, oh yes, well my brain tells me this should be nice, but it could be really crappy. Objectively, it could be really crappy.
But again, in that scenario, Beethoven would not pick to listen to a child's orchestra.
But he wouldn't know.
Yes, but he would still choose. He would be allowed to choose.
And you get to choose
Okay, but now
one
you guys are
thing,
saying
and it's the
he's
same
choosing
thing.
the
That's the
symphony.
parameter.
He's choosing the symphony.
Yes, because
But
we
he's
get
not
to
choosing
choose
the
our
chef. He's not choosing the musician.
Yeah, but if he could choose like the Vienna Philharmonic, I mean the Vienna Philharmonic didn't exist when he was alive, but if he could choose like the best musicians of the time of the area and be like this group, then yes,
Okay, so what it comes down to is Einstein's argument of relativity here. Because if you can't sense it, then you have no idea to judge it. You have no way of telling if it's good or bad objectively. So you could think that you know, but if you have no way to actually interact with the medium, you can't tell whether or not it's good.
We know intellectually from all of our previous experiences.
But that's the whole point of relativity. That's the whole point. If
Okay,
have
you
no
know what? All right, Matthew, if you want to talk about relativity, I'll get Yulia to come on the podcast. We'll get an actual physicist on the podcast.
She will agree with me.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm gonna
She will
ask
agree
her.
with me. Because if you have no ability, man, I don't want to go into this. Like, if you're in a room completely sealed with no walls or no view outside, and you're traveling at a constant speed and you're not accelerating, you can't tell if you're not moving or if you're traveling at a constant speed. You can't. You have no sensory. That's all. I need someone smarter than me to help.
No, we know this. We know how this works. You are overthinking the scenario. You're overthinking the premise.
You guys are playing checkers. I'm playing relativity chess.
No. Oh, that is fucking insane. If we're playing checkers, you're playing this is a circle. Draw a circle. That's where you're at.
No,
okay?
no.
Yeah. You're way lower. You can't even get this fucking premise right.
No. I'm saying there's no way the premise doesn't exist because, man, Colin, the listeners are gonna hate this show, and they're gonna all agree with me though. So.
I love it. We have a segment on relativity and a segment on Formula One racing. We're bringing the hot content this week, everybody. This is we're on our way up the fucking charts on Apple Podcasts. We're gonna make it into the top 10,000 this week.
Colin, hold up your mug. Now turn it around and point to the third line.
We got to come up with another. We have to come up with a synonym for nonsense, though. Okay, it's become
malarkey.
It's become too much. Yes, malarkey or shenanigans. Thank you. Yes, I like that. Okay?
I like it.
We can't be just one word. We can't just be like, oh, it's nonsense or whatever. We got to mix it up. I like malarkey, shenanigans. That's good.
Flim flam is also a good one too.
Flim flam, that's good. You know what? There's probably a good Yiddish word for this kind of stuff. Well, like mashugana means crazy. So that's kind of related. But maybe I'll find a good Yiddish word.
Poppycock.
Poppycock is good. Or to go with 30 Rock, we could do hogcock, which is a portmanteau of hogwash and poppycock. So hogcock is very good too. Thank you, 30 Rock.
So good. So
all right,
good.
what else we got, Kyle? Are we done?
That's it, boys. That's it. That's
Cool.
all I got. So unless you got parting shots, I think Matt got his parting shots in, but
Well, I think Matt has more. Matt, do you want to elaborate some more on all that? He's just staring at the camera. Yeah, I love all this dead air, Matt. That's really great. That's really great for the show.
We're done. This has
Okay,
been Two Jocks and a Schlub.
You
are
don't
back
taste
next
with your
week.
brain. You taste with your tongue.
We are back
If you
next
don't
week.
taste it, you can't tell if it's your favorite food or not. I'm
Back
saying.
next week, same time.
Hey, Saquon had 1-2 games in the top yards after contact in 2018.
Did you end the recording right when he was talking about the tasting? You still haven't
Still
ended
going.
it. Oh my god.
I said Saquon. I said Magic.
Yeah, he was talking about Sasquatch now.